Welcome to the Inside the Cell. I have an honor to sit down with Shawn and Mike out of the Boca Raton, Connecticut office. What's up, Shawn? How are you?
Doing great, Dom. Thanks for having me here in Carlsbad. This is legit setup.
That's factory fresh for you right there,
Yeah,
man.
he is no joke.
Today, I want to take 10, 15 minutes and really run through. Have some questions, sales related. We call this Inside the Cell, and I think sometimes you start going in this thing, you almost forget what it was like and what were some of the key things that triggered some change in your sales career. And I could think back to times over the years that I'd be in Connecticut, I'd be at the office, I'd be at an event, I'd be somewhere, and something just stuck out to me. So I want to ask you about some of those things and see if they're still true today, and see how maybe they're not so true. Maybe they changed a little bit over the years. But first thing is, on the phone, Shawn, you always said, meet them where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Meet them where they are.
100%.
I'd be on the phone. I'd be like, man, what happened there? I'd be like, I said this. They said, like, dude, you were here. They were here. You know what I mean? Was she yelling at you? I'm like, no, she wasn't yelling at me. Well, then why were you yelling at her? I don't know. Like, I had this thing in me that was just very, very too much on the phone. When he said meet them where they are, it brought me down. It made me realize that. So I just want to get into that, Shawn. What does that mean? And there may be somebody who's totally different. I was kind of over the top with it. There may be some people who are meek and mild that they still need to meet them where they are. So what are some examples and what does that mean?
First of all, people are going to be more comfortable when they're communicating the way they're used to communicating. So what I wanted to do, meeting people where they are, I just wanted to make it easier for me to help them, right? So if they answered that phone, like, no, they were angry. I wasn't angry, but if they were high or they were low or they were loud or they were quiet, I just met them where they were. Maybe he was answering the phone that way because he didn't know the number and he was just trying to fill me out. And okay, good. I do the same thing back. But if I communicate in a way that you're used to, well, and the only thing I tweaked was I wanted to do more of the talking. And I think that was what I was saying to some of these guys today is, you ask a question and wait. You can't do that in the phone. You can do it in the home. The actual opposite works in the home because you're there. You're not going anywhere. But I ask you a question. Silence is a winner for me in the home. Silence will kill you when you're on the phone trying to book appointments. So for me, as I was listening to them ask questions, they weren't bad questions, but there were questions that once they didn't answer fast enough, they needed to keep talking. I tend not to ask a lot of questions other than like, you're going to be there at this time, right? Like once I went through my deal, I expected we were going to sit down and talk. So those things haven't changed, Dominique. And I think that you want people to be comfortable enough because, hey, nothing good when you're doing sales in home, nothing good happens at the phone. You're making sales over the phone, everything, I get it. But when you're going out to people's houses, everything you're going to do, everything you do that will have success will occur while you're at their house. So why would I not want to sell contact? All I'm doing is selling the contact. You got this. You need it. I got to get out there. And there's a good answer to everything they say when you're selling content. I'm not trying to, if I'm going to meet with you at the house, I'm not trying to sell the insurance over the phone. I'm just selling the contact. And then I'm also trying to sell you on the fact that if we don't book this appointment, people will probably keep calling. And, people do knock on your door to try to help. Like, if you've not done this, why wouldn't you just take care of it? And again, for me, I'm indifferent. I'm also selling the fact that I have indifference. Whatever you do or don't do, it's up to you. And I think that removes the pressure from everybody. It was always my thing. Dude, whatever you do with it or don't do, it's completely up to you. You heard me. You can take it after I give you all the information, give you what it would look like and what it costs, and you can throw the thing in trash. That's fine. I don't care what you do. And I think that removed all of the, oh my God, he or she's coming to sell me something that costs X amount of dollars a month. I don't know if I can afford it.
What about the agent or the person who sees that and hears it and goes, well, what do they think you're just dropping something off to them? Or what do they, what does that go like? You say it's only going to be 5-10 minutes on the phone. What does it look like when you get there? What is?
Well, first of all, if they're not going to get the life insurance, I'm only going to be there 5 or 10 minutes. That's actually true. And I am just over there getting the information to them. And I think a lot of people, and I please don't anybody take this the wrong way, but like a lot of people that don't want to do something always come up with a reason not to. Like, they know it's commonsensical, but they're like, well, I don't want to push. One of the things I hope I taught my kids early was get people uncomfortable. You want to win, get them uncomfortable. Say things to make them uncomfortable. Ask them questions. Not because you're trying to hurt them, but you're trying to get information. If you're trying to get information, people ask them questions. Challenge them, And I think, Dom, I heard people say that to us 12 years ago. But there were people that weren't doing anything anyway. And they were just trying to find a reason as to why they weren't. So I would say to people, don't blame our success for your failure. You're not doing it because you don't want to do it. The reason you don't want to say that is you don't really care. And here's the thing for me. I so badly wanted them to get life insurance, like so badly, I don't want to screw it up. So I so badly wanted to get them life insurance, I was willing to get uncomfortable. What if I ran to 12 appointments in a day and 1 out of 12 said, well, I'll take the information no matter what I said. My man wasn't going to let me in. Okay, I have 11 more. I just want to help as many people as I can get life insurance. So I think for me, we're just selling contact. I think some folks like to be cute with all their questions. And, Mike Sizer one day said to me, earlier, he wasn't trying to be cute. He was just like, I'm like, dude, why do you do that? Well, I don't want to be, I don't push them too much on the phone. Dude, they're like in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. I mean, if anybody needs it, they do. You're disrespecting them by not. And he was like, no, you're right. I didn't think about it that way. I'm like, you think you have the ultimate respect for them by listening to them and having them say no to you, not getting them life insurance, and they get sick and can't get it, or they just die and don't have it, or don't have enough, which is why they fill it out. How are you doing the right thing by people? He's like, no, I didn't think about it. So I was like, we're coming over. And he sat right next to me. He's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm coming over. Either way, you don't have to make some food, dinner. I'm coming over. And I just had fun with it, but he just couldn't. And then he started doing the exact same thing. He's like, man, this works. I'm like, yeah, be presumptive. Do they want some? Because here's the thing. They're asking somebody they don't know to protect them, to be honest about it, and be strong enough to do their job. That's a very uncomfortable feeling for clients. Very uncomfortable. So if you're ambivalent, they're going to say no. Right. It's the presumptiveness that wins.
Dude, I can't agree with that more. Let's get into the home, because I remember there was a few things that we talk about, and it wouldn't be, the product training was read the app. So you're like, what did we talk about there? It was like, do they read the app? That was it. Okay. But you hit on very specific things when walking up to the home, what to pay attention to, what to be thinking about, not to ring the doorbell, but to knock on the door. You know what I mean? When you walk into the house, step in there with confidence and shake their hand. I'm here for our appointment. Would you like me to take my shoes off? Those are the main things that I remember about being taught how to go into homes. Why do you err on those? Why are those things important? And why do and as we're training and new agents are coming up, what are some things why do we go into other things that don't matter? Does that make sense?
Yeah, because those are the things that matter. I mean, you have to understand, they're trying to figure out from you, verbally and non-verbally, do I trust this person? How does he approach my house? Does he ring the doorbell that I might hear or not hear? Or does he and he don't knock on it like my man knocks on the door, right? Like, does he do that? When they open the door, do you immediately extend your hand, shake it, look them in the eyes, tell them who you are, nice to meet you? Do you handle? Because that is the beginning of providing structure. And people don't move without structure. It makes them nervous. No structure, they're going to say no because they don't know what to do. So that easiest thing is to say no, so you leave their house. So for me, those things are crazy important. You know what I mean? Paying attention to things the way at the house, not becoming their best friend, but certainly being complimentary and being nice, right? And then trying to figure out who they were, and immediately kind of scanning the room, going, okay, that's husband, that's wife. Wonder how old's that kid? I'm gonna figure that out. That's theirs, okay. That lady, wonder if that's one of their mothers or not. Let me ask. Like, let me get all my information. Let me do my recon so I figure out what you got. And that was always my thing. Like, hey, who's that? Hey, come on in, bud. Nice to meet you. And I think it was one of those things where a lot of people, that is the simplest part to me, but sometimes people are never taught that. Like, if you don't teach your kids, you have young kids, if you don't teach them to shake hands and look in the eye, they won't. My kids are far from perfect. I didn't say anybody's perfect, but like, when they shake your hand, they look you in the eye, they shake your hand like an adult. My son grabs your hand, you're not confused, he's confident, he knows what he's doing, looks you right in the eye. Nice to meet you. Thanks. Whatever it is he has to say, he says it. He can carry on a conversation, because those are things that are very, very important, both in athletics and business and just as being a young man, right? But at the end of the day, it's trying to get people to understand that those are the things that will make or break what's happening. You showing up and enamoring them with your insurance intellectual experience, dude, they don't care. What I mean by that is it's life insurance. I'm sorry, but it just is. I was like, so it made me laugh so hard. The guy wanted to train me on the products when I got started. And I'm like, Jim, on what? The whole life? I was like, what do you want to know about it? I'm like, it's good for their whole life. When they die, it'll pay the beneficiary. Like, what do you want to train me on, bud? I put in smoke, not age, gender, answer some medical questions, gives me a price. Like, what are we talking about here, bud? I think a lot of folks hold on to things. A lot of people that aren't really comfortable or sure if they're going to have success, they're kind of hedging their bets. That way they can have some things to blame for their lack of success, right? I didn't know the products yet. I'm like, you know them better than me. I'm like, I don't. I run the company. I listen to people all day long talk about the products. I'm like, damn, I didn't know that about the product. You know, I'll call them like, hey, how does this one work? Like, you know, and I think that, so it's getting people to understand that those little things are the big things, because the product is the product. Their medical history is going to be the medical history. They're going to answer. But it's what you do in those first 3, 4, 5, 7 minutes when you meet them, and then what you do to take control. I think the next most important part is once you've talked to them for a few minutes, walk in the door, what do you tell them to do next? Because that's your first time to instruct them. You've been nice prior to, shook their hand, maybe said that, but now it's like, okay, it's been 5 or 6 minutes. We've not gone anywhere. I need him or her to sit there. I need them to sit there. I need whatever it is. And that's that's their first test of you to see, are you going to take control? You know, and I'm not a big power stroke guy. Like, you must sit right here. But I'm just like, all right, guys, let's move over here. It's easier. You know, get this going. I'm sure y'all are crazy busy. And just assessing who's in charge, who pays the bills, who makes the decisions. Can be 2 different people, right? One person might do all of the above. One person might front like they do it and they don't. And you think they do, and you're like, oh, dude, that's not theirs. Oh, that's actually his or her. I thought it was his. This is definitely her show. And then how do you do that and be respectful and really just, you know, if you don't know, ask. Guys, we're going through this. I'm trying to figure out, you know, which one of you handles a checkbook on a month. Who balances the bank statement? Who makes the decisions about the money? You know. So, Dom, once I establish myself as being the one that's going to ask the most questions, because whoever asks most questions wins, providing the structure, then I become their insurance agent before they even answer a medical question. But I also can ensure myself that I'm not their insurance agent if I do all those things wrong. They will say no. And it won't be that complicated for them to say no. They're just going to say no. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. And when we decided we're going to definitely do something, Dom, we'll call you. They say that because you didn't provide any proper structure. And what if they actually, when they do die, they're going to trust you to take care of their family? You can't even you can't even control them in the house, like, respectfully. You're going to call a big bad insurance company and expedite everything? No, they're not going to trust you.
And that it reminds me of to get some water. I remember in every house it was, hey, give me a glass of water. And I talked to people today, and I'm like, oh, we missed that. Like that, and there was the psychology behind that was, how do you get, you know what I mean? You go into a stranger's house, you ask them to get you some water. They're already a little ambivalent about you, but you don't do things for people that they may not like you, but there's some respect there. And I'm like, well, I'm getting some water, bring it back. And every single home, I asked Shawn, I was like, hey, what if I'm not thirsty? Every time I get in my car, a thing full of bottled waters in my car. And be like, there's no way that I'm that thirsty in every home, but every time means every time, just like with your shoes off. Like, I remember the recording and said, it doesn't matter if there's Cheetos on the floor or nails coming through, ask them to take your shoes off. And if they say no, all good. If they say yes, take them off. You know, and that level of that when you walk in, grab your neck because your mom used to hit you in the back of the head 100% of the time. See, those are the things that during those first 2, 3, 4 minutes that that when you go, like, if you're going to help them within 5 to 7 minutes, or if you're not. When you do those things consistently, and those are the things that I can lean on, that any of us watching this right now, if you're starting off in this business, those are the things that you can lean on. You have to be confident that you're supposed to be there, confident that they want you to be there, that they want insurance. Otherwise, why would you be there? How would you get it? And then also confident that you have support on the back end. And I think that was the biggest thing. We'll finish with that, Shawn, is the support that agents have in the field. And I know we're doing a lot of different things virtually, whatnot. There's many different ways you can get support, but for an in-field agent, my confidence came from that I knew that I could reach out, that I can call somebody when I'm in a spot. And what does that mean? How do agents utilize those tools in the field, and what situations are best, is it best used in?
Yeah, and I think, to reiterate what you just said real quick for our answer is like, that's basic stuff, right? Like, how do I show you I respect your home? Would you like me to take my shoes off? I don't care what you think it doesn't look like. And why do most people not call life insurance agents? They think they're going to be spoken down to, and they're going to be lied to. And we do the exact opposite. Not that what everybody else does. They think they're intimidated, the information, whatever it is. So meeting people where they're at, right? And then I think also that whole like trying to make them laugh and self-deprecating humor and all of that stuff just makes sense. It's just not complicated, The support only works, Dom, when you're in the home. It just doesn't work before and doesn't work after. What I mean by that is if you call me and go, I have 12 appointments, I go, good luck. Like, what do you want me to say? I don't know what they're going to say or not say yet. I'm not mad at you. If you call me at 10 o'clock at night and go, man, I went 1 for 12, I go, good luck. You're already out of the appointments. You're going to tell me the narrative that you're going to believe is true, probably, about how the appointment went. And when I say, but why didn't you do this? You're going to go, no, I kind of did do that. You're like, dude, if you did it, they probably would have kind of said yes. But you, I think, Dom, is better than anybody I've worked with, maybe too good at it. You had no problem calling you in the house. And I think that was one of those things but it allowed us to grow together because you got to hear everything and then see how they reacted. And it really allowed us. So that was, for me, there's plenty of support, training, boot camps, there's videos, there's all kinds of stuff. But the best training you're going to get, in my opinion, is calling somebody when you're in the home and in the spot. And not like, hey, I just got here, what do you want me to do? But like, I'm sitting with Steven, I'm sitting with Susan, here's what's going on, here's where we're at, and here's what they're saying. Okay, now and even if we don't close the appointment, you get to hear what I'm asking them and what I'm saying, and then you've already given me some kind of validity because I'm whatever, your mentor, your manager, whatever the deal is. So they're probably listening more intently, which is weird, but they probably are. So I think, Dom, but outside of that, you're not going to, I'm all about you, chatting with people that work here about your week and how it went. But at some point in time, you got to get better, and I think we should be trying to get better every single day. So I think that, the T&Ls, the inside the sales, all the stuff, all the trainings, all the podcasts, they're all great. That really do. I think our training platform is unbelievable. But after all that, and you have your foundation, you going out there and applying it is where it's life changing, good or bad. And I think that that's what we're here for. That's the whole power of the agent hotlines and all the things you guys got. Is it's powerful when you're in the home. And maybe it is a straight medication question. You're trying to figure it out. You got a medication, and you know that Steven's run, thousands of appointments. Hey, Steve, you ever heard of this medication? Started by yeah, I have. Hey, they have this. Oh, no, you can run that. That's cool. Hey, you can't run that. You have to run this over here. So I think it's really getting people to understand how to handle all of the above. And it's going to be uncomfortable the first time you call in somebody's house. I'm just telling you. You're going to be sitting there going, all right, I have two choices. They're saying no. I can let them say no. And I can leave. My pride's intact. Nobody's going to even know what happened but me and the client. Yeah. Or... But they have no life insurance, I didn't make $1. Or, what do I got to lose? And if Steven goes, well, I don't care who you call. Well, I'm obligated to call my manager. Just what I got to do, because they get confused when somebody fills out a form and then says no, which obviously you can imagine they do. So just call him on how mad he's going to be at me. He's going to be mad at you guys are great, but we got to figure this whole thing out. Call him up. If you don't like to do that, just go, hey, guys, I need to call my manager. Now, I don't think I understand that. I'm just saying I got to call him just to make sure I'm not screwed anything up since before I got here. And then most of the time it'll be you're trying to get them there. They want to get there, and you need some help. You need some help about a payment. You need some help about, hey, I want to be taken out 45 days from now. And stuff where you can help them understand. Or her Dom, they really want the coverage. They're so excited, but they thought that they could get 200 grand. It's like, well, they're 74 years old with a myriad of medical problems, and they get to hear you say, like, listen, Tom and Susan, I wish you could too. And if I was the insurance company, I may not even write the policy, but we have a carrier to issue day one. I mean, like, just stuff that they know, but they haven't heard. Or they say, I got this through work and here it is. Like stuff like that. Want the insurance. Or they're sitting with this policy over here and they got one with this company, and then Dominique gets to go, yeah, but flip to it. It goes up every 5 years. They're like, oh, damn, I'm at 70, it goes to this price. I didn't realize that. Or at 80, I lose it because you've been there. So you have the information, but you don't benefit at all. Because if I call you after the appointment and I'm driving down the street, you can't help me analyze that policy. Go to the premiums. Go to that year. Go to the maximum premium allowed. See what the premium is actually going to be. Oh, my God. But that does you no good if you drive down the street. And we have a lot of really good people who love supporting the people we have.
Man, the value of you always said getting people to move. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not there's many underwriting guides. There's cheat sheets. There's tons of that. And I get the underwriting calls. But I think the nervous time is, like Shawn said, is when they're saying no, or they're saying that they don't want it to come out of their bank account, or they don't like to give their banking up, or they got to talk to their son, their daughter. Those are the times to call in the home. That's when I learned how to get people to help them move, to help more people. The underwriting, I mean, it's not that deep. Read the app. But this is where you're going to call in the home. And that's when it's uncomfortable, because your ego has to be in check enough to go, you know what? I don't know, but I still want to help. I don't know. I know you may judge me. I don't know stuff. And be clear, none of the clients go, I can't believe you didn't know that. I can't believe you called him or her and had, no, they're very appreciative. And by the end of it, I'm like, how did that happen? Like, you're not even here. And you know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, wow, like I can see it happen. You see them start unfolding their arms when things are said. And you see the guy kind of lean back in his chair. And you're like, dude, when I was saying it, looked like he was getting angrier. But you hear how to say it. And then when you feel like it's your first time doing something and you're like, I don't really know if I've heard it on a podcast before, you're better off calling and you try it out if you want, okay? If you have confidence, try it. But when I lacked confidence, I called. That's when I called. If I was confident, why would I? There's no reason to. I know I'm here, but when I lacked confidence and it was like, you know what, I may kind of know what to say, but I don't know. Let me give them a call. Hey, Shawn, they don't want it to come out of their bank account. Is there anything that we can do there with that? Q, put me on speakerphone. Hey, I understand, bank account, da-da-da-da. Okay, cool. By the end of it, we're drafting tomorrow. I'm like, oh, that's how you got there. So use the tools, reach out, but it all comes with work. And when you're in the home, it's the best time, all right? When you're on the phones, pound the phones. There's a myriad of leads out there. Be assumptive, all right? Start early, finish late. Thanks, Shawn, for helping today, dude, and thank you guys for having us.
Thank you, bro.